Good morning. Thank you. Okay. My name is Karen Hilligard, and I'm here with my colleagues, Terry Yen, Sonali Didi. We're faculty from the Department of Design and Merchandising at Colorado State University, and today we're going to talk with you about merchandise management in the age of Amazon. So we're going to begin by asking a couple of questions. Who knows which U.S. state has the highest percentage of residents who identify themselves as outdoor recreationists? Save that for the next question. Okay. Anybody take a guess? There's only 50 states, and wrong. I should have said that Colorado State University faculties and members, staff, and their families are not allowed to play. Okay. Not California, not Colorado. How about a state that begins with a letter A? Did she not listen? Okay, someone else say Alaska, and you can win a t-shirt. Alaska, thank you. Size medium or large? Okay. Terry, go ahead. In fact, there are two correct answers. Both residents from Alaska as well as the state of Montana report that 81% of them believe that they are outdoor recreationists, meaning that they regularly participate in outdoor activity. Other states with a lot of outdoor recreationists include Idaho, North Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, Vermont, and Washington. And interestingly, but perhaps not surprisingly, New Jersey is the state with the lowest percentage of outdoor recreationists and the only state with less than 50% of the population that self-identifies in that way. So on to the next question. What U.S. state generates the most money in annual consumer spending on outdoor recreation? California, you're right. You too are a lucky winner of a CSU t-shirt. Okay, so these are the top 5 states: California, Florida, Texas, New York, and Pennsylvania. And as you might assume, this is directly related to the fact that these states also have large populations, okay? But in particular, we wanted to mention that the different activities that people participate in and spend money on do vary by state. But they do provide some evidence of how engaged consumers are now in outdoor activities and how much they're spending. So it's a great opportunity for retailers of outdoor apparel and equipment around the country to take advantage of growing interest in outdoor recreation. And so now I'm going to turn things over to Terry, and she's going to talk a little more specifically about these consumers.
Good morning, everyone. So first, I want to just ask everybody here, how do we all shop? So how many of you have made a purchase online in the last week? In the last month? How many of you have made a purchase from Amazon in the last week? And in the last month from Amazon? Okay, and I don't want to make any assumption. Anybody here who does not shop online? So we know there's a change in consumer behavior. We now shop online. Oops. Yes, sorry. So just want to share with you some statistics first. So last year in 2017, so we have online sales to consumers equal to about $453 billion. So that's a big 16% jump from the previous year. So even though, as we know, more people are buying online, but in general, when you look at online sales, it's about 13% of total retail sales. So that number was 5% in 2010. So within the last 7 years, it actually more than doubled. But even though we have seen this consumer behavior change or shopping pattern change, but still we see the offline retail sales still is the majority of all the retail sales in the US. So then look more specifically at the US outdoor market. So in 2017, so the total retail, the outdoor retail sales was almost $900 billion. And there was a 6% increase from the previous year. If you look more closely to the online portion of the outdoor sales, so there's also an increase very similar to the general shopping statistics that we have seen. So the 10% increase for online outdoor sales, but it was 2.5% in 2011. So again, we have seen this steady increase of the online sales. So especially in the outdoor industry. Then looking at the outdoor population, almost 50% of US populations have participated in an outdoor activity at least once in 2016. And 2 million more Americans actually participated in outdoor activities in 2016 compared with the previous year. So 2 million more Americans. So that could include kids or people who just decided to participate in more outdoor activities. That's a big jump. So that's good news for outdoor companies. So a little bit more looking at the outdoor market. As we have noticed, there have been so many store closings for the last few years. And Sports Authority, Sports Chalet, they closed those stores. And mostly because of various reasons. The online retailers, the competition is really fierce. And also a lot more outdoor manufacturers, they have started to sell directly to consumers. So because of various benefits, they can provide us with more complete display of different products in the store or on their website. They also can engage with consumers more through their social media or events. And also through the saving of their overhead costs putting in the stores, they might be able to put the money into the product development. So they actually could provide maybe premium products at not so premium prices. So that's a lot of benefits for selling directly through consumers. With all these changes, however, we also have seen more outdoor brands, they are opening stores. So we say, oh, stores are closing, nobody's buying online, but that's not really true. More outdoor stores, for example, Arc'teryx, True Outdoor Voices, they have opened new stores within the last couple of years. So that's a trend that we see. Even though more people are shopping online, it doesn't mean that the stores are going away. So who are outdoor consumers? So if you fit either of these descriptions, you will be considered outdoor consumers. When you spend at least 1 hour per week outdoors, whether it's walking, hiking, or just fishing. If you participate in traditional, non-traditional outdoor activities, walking, hiking, or paddleboarding, or even climbing, then you, at least once in the past year, you can be considered outdoor consumers. Or when you purchase apparel, gear, or related products, that's for outdoor activity purchases, or purposes, then you could be considered outdoor consumers as well. So on average, data have shown that on average, outdoor consumers spend almost $500 a year on purchasing all these different related outdoor products. So that's another information for outdoor retailers or outdoor companies to rethink. We do have people who do all these things and they are purchasing different products just for the purpose of outdoor engagement. So why do they engage in outdoor activities? So traditionally we think about when you do more outdoor activities, it's healthier for you, and when the health benefit through the positive breathing the fresh air, getting out into outdoors, getting the sunshine really has a lot of positive health benefits. And it's also very fun. So I have a 5-year-old, and when we go hiking, for him it's not so much about improving his physical health. It's more about picking up the rocks, picking up the ants, and then touching the bugs on the trail. So for him, it's really fun. But the one thing that we have also noticed through the research is there's this big trend of the social aspect of outdoor activities that's happening. So when you engage in outdoor activities, you really spend more time with your family and friends, and also you get to do activities with like-minded people who are interested in similar activities, and you develop new friendships through the engagements. So that's the common motivations for outdoor activities. So what do outdoor consumers are looking for? So today we are here to talk to you about merchandise management in the age of Amazon. So really, what are we looking for when we engage in outdoor activities? So the list here are more commonly known product attributes that we all look for as consumers, whether we are buying from general retailers or from outdoor retailers. We want the products to be durable, we want it to have good quality, and we want it to feel comfortable when we use or wear the products. And of course, we like to have good price, and we like the selection being having a bigger variety so that we don't have to shop around and go to different places. The convenience factor is big, but also the sustainability piece that has been huge for the last few years. Research has shown outdoor people also love to engage in reducing the negative impact of their consumption and behavior on the environment. So if you look at a lot of the outdoor brands, look on their website, sustainability has been the major way of the marketing message that they try to convey to outdoor consumers. So all those are what outdoor consumers are looking for. However, there are two key things that I kind of want to talk a little bit more about is the good enough mentality. So especially for younger consumers, the millennial generation, Generation Y, or the Generation X consumers, they're now looking to buy the top-notch, super high quality, super expensive, super specialized products. They're looking for something that is less specialized, but they can use in different places. So they might want to buy a pair of pants that they can go hiking with. They also want to be able to wear that pants to go do yoga or to go just do grocery shopping. So it's not always the top-notch products that with high performance features that they're looking for. The it's good enough mentality is really becoming very common, especially for the millennial consumers. So then another point I want to kind of highlight is the importance of product reviews. So I don't know how many of you may have stepped into a retail store and you decide, okay, I want to pull up my phone and I want to compare prices. Sometimes you cannot do that. Why? Because the retailers try to block your Wi-Fi, try to block your signal, so you have no access to online. And you won't be able to look at what other retailers are offering online in terms of prices and stuff. So the same thing, if you're trying to access and look for product reviews online, a lot of times it might not be possible if the retailers try to block the signals for you to access the information. However, it's becoming very important, especially also for the younger consumers, to be able to look at product reviews before they decide to purchase anything at the store. So we were just at the store last week. I wanted to make sure that the product has good reviews before I decided I would buy it at the store. But if the signal was blocked, I would not be able to do that. Then I would have to leave the store without making that purchase. So the importance of being able to see the product reviews and then looking at what other consumers are saying about certain product is really important. Another feature that for outdoor retailers have to consider. So moving forward, my colleague Sonali is going to talk more specifically about the merchandise management and what does all that mean. Yes.
A very good morning to all of you. I'm just going to talk a little bit about merchandise management. How much did we say was the annual sales, outdoor sales in the US in 2017? About $900 billion. That's huge. Do you think we are going to do all online purchases? Not really, because outdoor is one thing which is going to be a more specialized category. People want to feel it, people want to wear it, fit it, and then go and buy that purchase, because obviously they're not cheap to buy, so they want to be sure before they purchase. However, online presence is getting essential every day, every minute, and every second, because people want to be on their smartphones. They want to be able to access what are other people saying, how does it look on other people, what does it feel like. So they want that thing in their hand or able to access on their laptops or desktops, whatever that is. but online presence is becoming essential. So no longer we can say that, oh no, I'm just going to be a brick and mortar store with no online presence. And when I say online presence, doesn't mean that you always have to have a shopping interface. As long as you're able to tell your story, as long as people are able to see your products, that's fine too. So because all the retailers are not able to do a shopping interface. So you can take baby steps, but online presence is something which is here to stay. And as we talk more, we wanted to talk about what are some of the most successful brick and mortar stores or storefronts or brands are doing to compete with the online only. And when I say online only, I'm being subtle. It is Amazon, because everybody's saying, yes, all industry partners are identifying Amazon as the biggest major threat for their businesses. So, but not all brick and mortar stores or not all brands are going out of business. So what are these brands doing differently? One of the things is product selection and assortment strategies. How many of you do look at products when you go for shopping? Let's say you're doing a hiking jacket or hiking pants. We kind of look around different things, and it has become more than normal for us to compare prices across different platforms. Again, that's here to stay, it's not going to go. But what is also a reality is people like instant gratification. People like to feel the product. So they're going to experience the product, so it's going to stay. But what other differentiation which some of the retailers, successful retailers who have done, are they're carrying a lot of the local brands. Whatever, have your local brands, have your local businesses in products from the local businesses in the store. That way there is no comparison. So you cannot just say, okay, I'm going to go and look at this brand online, because you're not going to find it online because it's more local. And it is, again, the consumers, outdoor consumers, they love their community. They always love supporting the local community. So more research has shown that local brands, having local brands in your portfolio might help you drive sales. And sometimes even private brands. Have your own private brands. So not necessarily everything has to be sourced brands or high-end brands. You can have a private brands at a lower price point. Walmart, Target did that very while ago in generic groceries. It's happening across the apparel and the fashion and the outdoor lines. And there are two examples up here about Stuff and High Colorado. They're private brands, very comparable in quality, durability, fit, and all of those, but obviously at a much cheaper price than the national brands. And the other is product customization, having more and more about what can you differentiate from Amazon to you? Why would a consumer come to you? Why would he say, okay, I don't want to buy at Amazon because I like this store because they can just fix a little thing, or they show me different options, and I don't have to get influenced by whatever the Amazon's algorithms tell me to buy. So not all of those people are going to like what algorithms are going to say, because what does Amazon do, or what does any big online retailers do, is they have these algorithms. They're having this huge big data compiling list of what is happening around, what kind of prices are there, and they're adjusting prices accordingly. It's not that somebody is sitting at the computer all the time and checking all that. It's all computerized. So how can we make a difference at a small brand levels or medium brand levels or retail stores? And then is about the other part of it is also about in-store assortment with online catalog. A lot of the retailers or small business owners are struggling with what do? I cannot compete with the amount of variety, amount of the broad breadth and the depth of products which Amazon has. So what can we do? Yes, we cannot have everything in our store, but yes, we can make it available on request. So having some in store and having an access, again, remember, it's the consumers want access. That's what they like about it. So as long as they can have access to an online catalog where they can see and compare, they're fine, as long as they can come to the store and look at it. And some of the retailers have had in-store and online exclusive. So whatever is available online of their own brand, it's exclusive only for online. Some of them are exclusive only for in-store. Now, how does that help? Because maybe I like something in store, and that helps me drive the traffic to the in-store. Something I like online, and I'm like, oh, maybe what's there in the store, let me go have a visit. So the more you go to the store, you're increasing your store traffic. So having this exclusive strategy has helped certain retailers as well. One of the other is limited assortment with an option to buy online or in-store delivery becoming more and more popular, but something which a lot of retailers are engaging in. And then we were doing this search as we were preparing for this presentation, and what we found is even the small or the newer brands, like less than 5-year brands, they're not small anymore. They're putting it on variety of platforms, not just they're doing an omni-channel retailing, different channels of retailing, but they're also making Amazon their friend. Now, we just cannot stand here and say, oh no, I'm not going to shop at Amazon, I'm not going to have products on Amazon. Again, it's a personal choice. But let's make them a friend and see, again, have a limited assortment on Amazon so people get interested in your products. That helps them come to your online store or helps them come to your brick and mortar store. So have a limited assortment, limited presence on Amazon. And the last one which I wanted to, it just came out 3 days back. Nike has a new store, Refresh Store. Anybody heard about it? It came up in Business Insider. And I know it's not a great format, but we can learn from it. And it looks like this. And what Nike's thing is they're going to refresh the inventory every 2 weeks. Now, I see a fast fashion model, not a great fan of fast fashion, but yes, as what can we do at a store level? Maybe not put out all your inventory on display the first, everything out there. Change your inventory every 2 or 3 weeks and have the stuff in the back room. But refresh your inventory. People like the newness. People want to see what's new in the store. I came here 2 weeks back and it's the same, so they don't like coming to stores. So maybe refresh your inventory with what you have. Some other things which, again, pricing. People have this perception that online is cheaper. Anybody found that online and in-store are almost the same? Most of the times, maybe they're same or a little bit costlier, expensive at brick and mortar stores. But what does brick and mortar store give you? Instant gratification. Consumers love instant gratification. Consumers love having a human interaction, talking to people. So that's where people make those choices. My husband, he doesn't like shopping as much online, but he wants to go to the store and he wants whatever he wants it now. So he doesn't wait for some things which he wants. Some other strategies, having the in-store and online pricing same. And there have been examples where brands have done different pricing on online and cheaper pricing on online and in-store costly. A consumer is going to say, no, I'm not going to accept that. If it's the same brand, why is it different pricing? So trying to match your pricing which are in-store and online. And maybe not best strategy for all, but successful brands, outdoor brands which have survived this whole competition, they have done some pricing changes. They have done some pricing adjustments, maybe drop in some products or raising the prices of the others. So always not necessarily the price which you're selling is the right price. And this is an interesting graph because it is showing how online shopping platforms are helping the brands to sell online. So the first one is time spent. And if you see this, they spend a lot of time on the mobile to browse. They're not buying, they're browsing. They want to see more information. But the actual buying is still happening on the desktop. But people, what we kind of know is that people love their phones. They want to see, they want that information right now. So let's give them that information on our platforms. And almost 70% of the consumers look at the information about what is there in the store right now. Is it available? Do I have to order somewhere? Almost 40% want to visit. They're not likely to visit a retailer if they think that the product is not in stock. and 40% sales are influenced by the brand's website. So how good, how responsive your brand's website is, how friendly in terms of finding the information on your website kind of helps your online store traffic as well. This is one platform, and again, we are trying to get towards what's happening. Has anybody seen the Pinterest with, I bought this from Amazon? Have we? No. Because with Amazon, because they're competing on the price, consumers don't feel like they have to make that announcement on social media that, oh, I bought this from Amazon. But if it is their local store, they're more likely to pin it and say, oh, I brought it from this local store, and hey, they have some good product and stuff of those. So social media is coming up, and we need to care. And we hear a lot of time that small business owners do not have, or small stores or local stores do not have the ability to have social media marketing. But maybe thinking as a collective, maybe thinking what can we do as a collective which complements each other's resources. Can we all come together and have these marketing strategies put in place which helps not just one of us but all of us? So the first one is like all these different social media platforms have started a buy pin or a buying axis. So the first one is the pin it. Now they have two buttons. They just started with pin it, but now they have pin it and buy it. So you can choose where you want to buy. Instagram also has started with the buying capabilities. Facebook is doing the shop now. They're exploring Messenger, Facebook Messenger buying capabilities, and Google Shopping. Again, with the algorithms which Google is having, it can do all the scanning of different prices, and then you can choose where you want to buy. And some other things which we were thinking about was online. Yes, they have a lot of big data. They're generating data in a lot of magnitude. How does small business retailers or small stores or local stores get this information? Maybe having loyalty programs. But again, it is something which, does it work for you? You might want to look at those first. Does it work for you? Because when you have loyalty programs, you know what consumers are buying, at what price points, how much are they buying, what is their average sales, and all of those things. So that is a way of you getting the information about what is going on in your store. Social media marketing and practice, belief-based branding, there's a lot going about. People want to know you as a brand, and they connect with you as a brand. You stand for certain values, and that's how consumers connect with you. So there's a lot going on in the belief-based branding, so telling your story. Every time I go to a brand, I look up their story, because that's how I connect with brands. And maybe, and this was just some fun things we were brainstorming about, some marketing. Why would an outdoor consumer come to the store? So maybe it's the fit, because especially with the outdoor gear, which is so costly, you don't want to buy it, doesn't fit, you want to return it and do that back and forth. So maybe marketing from a fit perspective and making them feel comfortable and nice and getting into the store about the fit. And this is just a visual about whatever I talked, and it is about, if you see, the highest is in-store events and demos, 80%, and that's again how are we looking at the brick and mortar store of the future. 70% is employee empowerment, and about 70% is also in-store assortment. So different aspects, very important as we think about how do we want to compete with Amazon. So now I will pass it on to Karen to talk about the customer engagement.
Okay, so you all know that it's very difficult for moderate size and small retailers to compete with Amazon on product availability, product price, and delivery. So retailers need to think a little bit more about customer engagement and what that means. And really what we're talking about here is efforts to provide consumers with a complete experience. So your objectives should always be to build brand awareness, to recognize and reward consumer patronage, and that becomes a more important part of the experience for consumers, particularly millennials. Remember, they grew up in that age of where everyone gets a trophy. They kind of want a trophy for shopping at your store. And you need to establish customer trust. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we might go about doing that, but in a general sense, it can involve enhanced services, customized or personalized services, special activities and events, promotions and loyalty programs, and exciting store environments. So the first thing that's really important when it comes to customer engagement is customer service, okay? If customers feel dissatisfied with the service that they receive from a retailer, they're not likely to continue to patronize your store. And with all of the new technologies that are available to consumers today, we have new expectations around customer service and what that means. First and foremost, consumers want knowledgeable, helpful, and efficient service. One of the things that we have to keep in mind today is that consumers do their homework. They research brands, they research product attributes, and so they may in times be more knowledgeable than sales personnel in independent stores. So you want to make sure you work with your sales staff to make sure they're well trained, to make sure that they know the different brands and the unique attributes of different brands, and also acknowledge that some of the consumers may be more knowledgeable. Engage with them in conversation about what they do know, what they've used in the past, what they've enjoyed, and how that might help you to sell more product. They also search for information through multi-channels, okay? So we think about the phone and how antiquated it's becoming for some consumers. If you have teenagers, college-age family members or friends, you know that they don't make phone calls, okay? But that doesn't mean that they don't want access to the phone when it comes to customer service, okay? Older consumers will use the phone more often to call retail stores to ask all sorts of questions, but all consumers want phone access when it comes to things that are especially important to them. It could have to do with a product that wasn't delivered when they expected it to be. It could have to do with a bill, things where they want immediate recourse, particularly if they feel that they might be slighted through that experience. Websites and email are used really commonly by consumers in the age range 35 to 55. They will oftentimes send emails to ask for more information about the retail services and products. And of course, younger consumers will use social media and mobile apps more often. All consumers want to be valued, so they expect that people will treat them with respect when they're in the retail setting, and also be recognized for their purchases, particularly if they make expensive purchases, and sometimes it just means quick, short follow-up with a thank you for making a purchase at your store. So if someone bought a pair of socks, then of course you don't have the time to do that, but if they bought a kayak, that might be the right time to send a thank you, telling them you appreciate their business and you hope they'll shop again. They're also looking for more personalization, so more intimate, immersive, and individualized experience. Looking to try to identify consumers by name, acknowledging their presence in repeat purchasing in your stores. They, again, remember, want information, so any ways in which you can provide more information to them about products in an in-store setting. If you can integrate interactivity in the store, whether it's an electronic kiosk where they can search for information by themselves, or to have more knowledgeable salespeople on staff. And of course, they like the immediacy of being able to purchase goods when they find the right product. So referencing back to Sonali, making sure you have the right assortment relative to colors, sizes, and other product attributes. Okay, when it comes to service today, consumers want both self-service and quality service. According to a study conducted by Forrester Research, 90% of U.S. consumers expect companies to provide self-service portals through various internet platforms. Consumer aged 18 to 34 years are especially likely to search electronically for answers to consumer service questions. So if you do have a website, making sure that you have a tab specifically related to service questions and doing your best to provide as much information about the service that you provide and how they might proceed if they feel they need additional assistance. Being able to provide live chats is something that young consumers in particular are very responsive to. Also, another recent survey conducted by Aspect Marketing, 54% of respondents said they stopped doing business with a company because of a bad experience. Okay, so that's up 5% from the previous years, and as many as 61% of respondents aged 18 to 34 stopped doing business with a company due to poor customer service. Okay, so you know they're judging you, and they're reading online reviews of service and products. So it's important to pay attention and make sure that you're providing the best service possible. Okay. Speaking about digital self-service, there are a couple of things that retailers can think about with respect to recent trends. One has to do with speed. Consumers want immediacy with respect to obtaining answers to their service questions. 75% of customers believe it takes too long to reach a live agent who can really answer their questions. Okay? And when it depends on the actual type of communication, they're willing to wait 4 hours for a response to the email, but only 2 minutes on the phone. So companies that are using automated voice systems rate the lowest with respect to consumer satisfaction. So having a live person answer the phone is always preferable, and only 30 seconds for a live chat. So they want immediate attention. They also want greater access than ever before. And of course, it's not realistic to always provide 24/7 access, but they do have expectations that they can communicate with brands, with retailers beyond what we normally perceive to be normal business hours. So if you can have live chats available later in the evening, even when your store isn't open, that could be beneficial to encouraging a student or a customer to visit the following day. They're looking for a holistic experience, so you do need to deliver more service channels. Information search is an important part of the customer journey. Most young adults will start there. They will look to see what options are available to them before they visit the retail store, so they will come armed with information. And they are often engaged in constant comparison. So what we need to understand is they're not just looking at your direct competitors, they're looking at the digital channels for other types of businesses, whether it's airlines or restaurants, and looking to the technologies that they're using to enhance the consumer experience, to provide greater information. And they seem to think that if United Airlines can call you up as a customer within 10 seconds, that all retailers should be able to do that. So looking for ways that you can improve upon getting information to consumers in a timely manner. And of course, young consumers in particular are very interested in virtual assistants, whether it's Siri or Alexa or another format. They believe that virtual assistants deliver relevant, personalized, and contextual answers to individual questions. So just a couple last things that I want to mention with respect to strategies to enhance brand experiences. As small retailers or moderate retailers, not all companies have the resources to do some of the same things that Amazon or Nike or Dick's or some of the other large retailers might be doing, but maybe you can think about enhancing what you're already doing. So when we talk about expanded services, maybe you do provide delivery services, but is there a way that you can improve upon that so that you can cut the time in which you deliver goods or allow yourself to deliver larger types of goods? Many cases, consumers will be looking to buy a larger object. They may not have the capacity to pick it up and bring it home themselves, and you could lose a sale because you don't have the ability to deliver the product. Also, think about product repair, okay? if customers purchase something from you and they feel that it doesn't meet their needs because it didn't hold up, then you're likely to lose a customer. But if you can have them bring it in and you can provide the repair, then that's an opportunity for you to, again, engage with the consumers and have them have a positive experience. Customized or personalized service. Again, this could be difficult for smaller retailers, but think about personal shoppers, for example, and maybe it's not something you can do 12 months a year, but can you do it at certain points of the year when it may be more helpful, particularly for consumers who may not be buying products for their own use, but they might be in your store to be purchasing a gift for someone who's engaged in outdoor activity. So maybe it's Mother's Day, maybe it's Father's Day, maybe it's the December holidays. And these people may come in with very limited knowledge, but if they can engage with someone one-on-one, talk about the person they're buying for and what that person is typically looking for, then you can help them find the right product for that gift-giving occasion, which will then encourage them to continue to shop your store. Activities and events, and again, you may not be able to sponsor the Lake Placid Ironman, but you could do a day in the park, okay, with some other local retailers in your town where you give consumers an opportunity to try your products. If you've been to REI here in Denver, you know that you can try lots of their products right outside their door. Not all retailers are conveniently located, but you could have a day in the park where they could kayak, where they could try bikes and other products that would encourage them to make a purchase. Sonali talked a little bit about promotions and loyalty programs, so I don't want to repeat, but I did want to mention that 80% of your sales are attributed to 20% of your customers typically. So when you're thinking about loyalty programs, you need to think about that 20% and creating programs that provide value to those consumers. So you need to get to know your consumers and what is it that they might gain from shopping at your store regularly. Also, just a quick note, a lot of companies spend a lot of money doing loyalty programs and it does not generate additional sales. So it's really important to know what your consumers perceive to be valuable. And then lastly, with the store environment, again, sometimes you may not have the resources to design something like the brand new Nordstrom store for men in New York City, which has all the bells and whistles, curbside delivery, just pull up in your car and they'll run the product out to you, in-store shops, a bar catering specifically to the needs of men, whatever that might be, technology throughout the store. But you need to think about how you're presenting your merchandise. Are you really showing it? Are you letting consumers see the wider range of what you have? And again, moving merchandise around the store on a regular basis so people can be exposed to the fuller assortment of your merchandise. Also think about things like product demonstration areas. They can be a really important way to help sell more product. Even just having a sufficient number of fitting rooms that are well accommodated. Probably some of you have had that experience when you're in a store and there are not enough fitting rooms and you're waiting long and it can discourage you from continuing through the purchase process. Okay? So I think that's all that we wanted to share with you today given the time allotted. So thank you all for coming, and we'd like to thank the outdoor retailer for inviting us to present here today. And we'd be happy to take any questions in the few minutes we have left if you should have any questions. Thank you.
Today. I have questions regarding influencers because you guys talked about promotions and whatnot. Can you share a little bit your perspective on effectiveness of influencers and how to select influencers? I think anywhere from small companies to Fortune 100 companies are going toward this direction, but it's been very difficult to measure how effective they really are.
I know I wanted to discuss about the influencers, but I didn't have the time. But what it is, again, it's about getting the visibility. Influencers with their unique way of either blogging or their followers kind of a thing, they tend to at least get your brand visibility out there. There's not been research about how much of return on investment there is. No, it is just about how many times did your brand show up on Pinterest or how many times did it show up at Instagram. And most of the times what happens is people are following those influencers, so they want to, it's kind of an aspirational. Maybe not now, maybe after 2 years, I can afford to buy that product. And when I buy, I'm going to buy from that influencer. So there is not a very numbered kind of research out there, but it does show that it helps you in getting the brand traction, brand awareness, brand visibility. So how to identify influencers, especially in the outdoors, is what we have found is people who like blogging or people who like having that online presence and sharing their experiences are more likely. So as a small business retailer or just a store owner, local store, if you had some sort of an interface where consumers can talk to you or consumers can share their experiences. That has shown, like the Outdoor Wises, I don't know if you, that's one of the brands, and they have everything about, oh, I wanted to have this, I was waiting for this legging and I really loved it. So I think the consumers are the biggest advocates at this point. And again, I think trying to see who are your local influencers on social media would be the best bet to find your influencer, I guess. I don't know if I answered your question, but thank you.
I would just add that, you know, in the case of outdoor retailers, fit would be important, and fit really should probably focus on expertise. So if you happen to have, you know, someone in your area who's been successful in their own area of outdoor recreation, even if it's a very small town and they've hiked the Appalachian Trail, then maybe there's someone who could, you know, really speak to their expertise around hiking. If you're more fortunate and you have an Olympic skier in your town, then of course you can go that route, right? So it would vary.
Other questions? Thank you so much for coming to our presentation.
Yes, thank you.